Because tomorrow was a working Monday, or perhaps your wife was mad at you for leaving the toilet seat up. Yesterday, I went to bed with a frown. I was anxious because the day after, so today, I had this product delivery at Uphold for a new animated list use case, similar to the one you're seeing on screen. And so my implementation, logic-wise, it was flawless. But performance-wise, when I tested it on my real iPhone 17 device, it was atrocious, to say the least. So we, as React Native lovers, we strive for that native, snappy application feeling, and I wanted that. So I left an autonomous research skill running overnight on my machine, and when I woke up, the performance issues were gone. This is a real story, and this is precisely what led OpenAI co-founder Andrej Karpathy to create the Autoresearch agent skill. So with this skill, you provided one goal, whatever it is. The agent will plan and run n experiments. If the experiment was beneficial for that goal, it will keep it. If not, it will discard it. And it will only stop when your goal is achieved, with absolutely zero human interaction. I mean, I was literally sleeping. And so you may be wondering, okay, and what does all of this have to do with React Native and performance? What if we could create an autonomous React Native performance scientist agent? This left me thinking. And so we decided to explore the current state of the art for already existing React Native AI performance tools. This is what we found. Number one, Metro MCP. This MCP provides your agent with runtime access to your Metro and DevTools, which in turn is very useful for debugging and profiling performance. You've all been there using DevTools. Number two, we have the agent device skill from Callstack. This skill essentially gives your agent full control over your application. It's like it's a human. It can tap, swipe, scroll, navigate between screens in a performant, automated manner. And number three, we have perhaps the most important out of all these three, React Native best practices. Hopefully you've all heard about this one. It's literally the encyclopedia of React Native's performance knowledge. Everyone is using it. It's the ultimate guide to React Native optimization, as their README says. It has all of these different flavors, all of these performance insights ranging from JavaScript UI thread profiling all the way to memoization, callback optimization. You should definitely try it out if you still haven't in your React Native project. So we have these three tools, and let's propose a scenario. You're a coworker or a React Native engineer. He wants to implement this new performance use case using AI. Let's take Jeff here as an example. Now Jeff wants his image carousel to run at 60 frames per second smoothly on both JavaScript and UI thread. So he's faced with this dilemma. He's confused, like what tool should he use? What skill should he call? Should he use the Metro MCP and get some useful insights on network requests that the carousel is performing or memory allocations? Should he use the agent device skill to automate the image carousel swiping gesture? Should he use the React Native best practices skill and get some insights on image optimization, swipe gesture animation for the UI thread? Or should he just go plain vanilla? Should he just type the prompt right in because he's overwhelmed and he just wants to get it done? And he ends up not using any one of these outstanding tools. That's perhaps what most of us would end up doing if we were confused. And so we have this problem. We have these outstanding tools, but they are scattered. It's like they are missing this connection point amongst them. For example, World Cup is coming, and all of us as football fans, we can clearly identify what the missing piece is from this picture, right? And so in this case, what is the missing element? What is this holy grail? The Autoresearch skill. So essentially, the Autoresearch skill will orchestrate all of the information amongst this system. It will plan its scientific experiments, as I mentioned before, gathering needed context from each of these three tools. So again, same scenario. Let's propose the example of Jeff and his image carousel. The Autoresearch will ingest that as input, as I had mentioned, one input, one goal. and it will start planning the first iteration. So for the first iteration, it will ask Metro MCP, okay, profile component re-renders for the image carousel. It will then ask agent device skill, okay, swipe continuously while we profile. And finally, it will ask React Native best practices, give me the best insights on JavaScript and UI thread profiling and frames per second optimization. So it has planned the iteration, it performs some fixes, and it runs it. As I had said before, some results will be obtained. If the results are beneficial, which in this case they were, the research will keep it and continue on to the next experiment in an auto-research loop manner. So over time, optimistically speaking, your goal will be achieved and the auto-research loop fully closes. Now imagine this. Jeff had 50 frames per second average before. He achieved 60 frames per second with only one input. That was it. And in harness, one input and absolutely zero human interaction. He didn't need to touch any key on the keyboard after the first input. And so, as a matter of fact, this system, this orchestra, has been hiding behind a mask this entire time. Ladies and gentlemen, it was with great pleasure that we present you with Metrognome, the React Native Performance Scientist Wizard. So all React Native performance AI tooling centralized in only one Metrognome. Metrognome can do essentially three of many things. My personal favorite, it can get a 3D performance map of your React Native components, all of them. I'll show you in a bit. Number two, you can auto-research a goal, as we've seen in these previous slides. And number three, each one of you can have your own self-learning performance engineer agent, Metrognome, running inside of your projects, which gets smarter and smarter every week. And I'll show you that in a moment. But just like we have these gnomes sitting in a chair in our garden, they are watching these people, they are listening, they are learning. Metrognome is exactly the same. It will sit inside your project, it will learn, it will experiment and grow over time. Now you may be wondering, okay, and how? Let's go for a quick demo. So I got my Metrognome loaded up here in my Cloud Code harness. This is the menu, 4 options: auto-research, 3D performance map, Doctor, and configurations. Now, my personal recommendation is that if you use Metrognome, you always start with the 3D performance map. This will give you an holistic general view of how your components, React Native components, are behaving in terms of performance. Let me show you right here. So here is the 3D performance map. Now, you see each one of these modules is a React Native component. The bigger and the more red the module is, the more performance depth it has. So I can probably see that this one is the biggest. I'm going to press it. Okay. And so we have the app screens live score screen component. Coincidentally, it's the same component that we have here open on the right. Now, it has a total depth of 26 points. What does this mean? This depth is calculated by the amount of performance flaws that this component has. Now, here is the list of the flaws. Each of these flaws has a severity ranging from critical to low. And you can also see that each of one of these flaws has a guide. And this is the most important part. The guide is coming directly from React Native best practices skill from Callstack. So essentially, the script will use the React Native best practices skill to infer what performance issues each one of your components has. So in this case, it was the JavaScript avoid anonymous functions guide from Callstack, React Native best practices, that detected this flaw. We have many flaws, such as flat list without get item layout, list uses array index as key, etc., etc. These are all the flaws for this specific component. Now, in the 3D performance map, you can play around and do other stuff. For example, you can filter minimum amount of depth because some modules don't have any depth; they're already optimized. And my favorite thing about this menu is that Metrognome provides you with the top 3 components in your project with the most amount of depth. So you can come. In this case, the first place is the one we were actually analyzing before, and Metrognome allows you to come right here, copy this auto-research command, and paste it in your harness or either in a fresh session, also works, and it will start running the auto-research loop for you automatically without you having to touch any key afterwards. Let me show you how that works. So when it starts running the auto-research loop, what it does is that it opens this live report for you so you can track the progress of the research. So in this case, for the live score screen component, I had ran this research last week, and we were analyzing re-render timing of this component. We started off with 70 milliseconds, and the research performed 4 iterations. And it ran them one by one, as I had said before. For the first iteration, it hoisted the score component to module scope. Essentially, it decremented the re-render timing by 30 milliseconds. That's a 43% cut. Amazing, so it definitely kept it. Second iteration, it memoized some components, stabilized some callbacks, and yet again, 20 milliseconds cut, 48% reduction, another keep. And as I had said before, if the iteration is not beneficial for the goal, it will discard them. That's the case for these latter two. They were discarded because the results were not as good as the first ones. And so this is essentially what Metrognome can do. You provided one input, one goal, one metric, one target, one component, and it will perform that research autonomously for you without you having to touch any keyboard. And that's precisely what I did. I left my computer running overnight, and it performed those performance optimizations for me. And so, who is this for? Any of us? Any React Native engineer who is eager to explore any performance constraint? It's also for overnight auto-research shifts while you sleep. OpenAI co-founder did it. I did it. You should try it out. I guess it's the only overnight promise that I've heard about in these last few years that actually works and actually delivers measurable results in one night. So try it out and let me know. And finally, in your CIs. And here comes the most important part. Metrognome offers 2 CI templates for your repositories. The first one will perform a static analysis and fix the top 3 components with the most depth in your repository at that time, automatically. The second one will perform actual auto research on a CI simulator/emulator, which is more token consuming, but it's more realistic as well. And so the best part of all of this is that these CIs run on a weekly scheduled cron job. This means that every week, every 7 days, Metrognome will go into your repository, it will detect the components that have the biggest flaws, it will fix them, and it will open a PR. This is non-invasive, so if you're worried about how that PR will behave, you can go there and manually review it by yourself, or have another code review agent performing that revision. And over time, it adheres to the CI, continuous integration principle, and your application will technically get more performant because those fixes, those optimizations are being made on a weekly basis. And so, to finish, Metrognome, it will learn, because every project is different. So it will learn from your code standards and patterns on your own repository, and it will document it in its own memory file, as well as the mistakes that it will make, because mistakes happen, and you will make some mistakes, and it will also integrate them in the memory. So finally, beforehand, we had multiple React Native AI performance tool calls. We had confusion, we had manual orchestration of information, and that is solved with Metrognome. We have one input from the user, that's it. One skill call, looping, self-learning, outstanding performance improvements. So Metrognome is available on GitHub. Feel free to try it out. Let me know how it went. It is also open source, so if any of you has recommendations or suggestions, I'll be more than happy to look into them with you. And remember, one input, one goal, 0 human interaction, outstanding performance gains. That was Metrognome. Thank you so much, guys.
Any questions?
Yeah, sure. I have a question.
Just wait a second. Let me give you the mic. And then it's gonna be better for recording.
Sure. It's working? Is it working?
It's just for recording, so you can just...
Okay.
Yeah, just
Okay. So what if you have like a different case which is not related to performance, and you have a task that you want to accomplish? For example, I had like a task 2 years ago, which took me like a lot of time for upgrading an app which was abandoned for like 7 years, and it needed to be updated to the newest version. And if you have this kind of task, right?
Right.
How would you use this approach to do this task? Like, can you create like this metronome, like for a different use case? And how difficult is this?
I wouldn't say it's difficult. We can integrate it. For example, as I said, if you had any suggestion, that's a really good suggestion. We can extend this not only for performance, but for any issue, because essentially it will always perform this auto research which works for anything. That was the goal of Andrej Karpathy when he created that skill. He wanted it to work for anything. Anything works. And so it will be really easy to extend it. And I'll definitely look that into in the future because it's a really good suggestion. And see how we can abstract this from performance and also extend it to those use cases that you suggested.
Can you tell like what's the process of creating the tool like this? Like for example, if I want to do it myself, like this night, right? Like a very basic proof of concept to solve like this problem, like upgrade the app from like 5 years ago to the newest React Native version. How would you approach it, like with these tools?
Great question. How I would do that is, so for Metrognome, what I did is I researched the already existing tools and found their gaps or what is missing, and I tried to mix it in a pot and stir it a little bit, and Metrognome was the cook that came out of that pot. So if I were you, I would probably go and look what already exists that tackles your problem, and if nothing exists, then you probably can become the first one to develop and brainstorm this idea. I would definitely use agents. I used Agent for Brainstorm. I used this Superpowers plugin in Cloud Code to brainstorm, and it's amazing. It asks you so many questions to ensure that you're both on the same page, you and the agent. And so that's, I think, if it doesn't exist yet, you can create it. If it already exists, you should find the gaps in already existing tools.
Thank you very much. And thank you for the great presentation.
Thank you. Thank you, man.
Maybe an extension to that, like since you were talking about upgrading an old application, I mean, at Callstack we have skills to upgrade applications as well, right? To new SDKs.
Exactly.
So maybe it's something, a new feature for Metrognome. That should come.
That's a good suggestion.
Many companies have this problem, like the companies like telecoms, for example, like those big monoliths. They have a lot of old apps that were abandoned because their priorities changed. And then they need to upgrade it now, and this could be very useful because like I lost like a month for doing that.
That's a lot.
It was very crazy thing, and that thing could help a lot, I think.
Definitely, try it out. Let's extend it as well.
Yeah, thanks.
Nice, thank you.
Thank you.
I have actually one other question. Whoever wants to start using Metrognome, do you have like a one-line CLI command or something?
We do. Let me show you here really quick.
Because this is very interesting, to be honest.
We have, so this is mainly integrated for Cloud Code. However, where is my command? Here, no? Here. So it's marketplace command, only these 2 lines, and it works on Cloud Code. I haven't tested it on other harnesses because I don't use them. However, this can also run on Node. For example, the 3D performance map, this is purely Node. It's a Node script. So any of you can come right here and with this npm command, you can run the 3D performance map, any application.
Awesome, thank you.
No problem. I guess you had a question?
Oh, you have, okay, sorry. I mean, it's the best we have.
No, that's a great project, and I would suggest you to try it with other harnesses, because from my experience, you can do exactly the same with just the harness and a few MCP.
Okay.
And if you can try it and convert it to something non-cloud, it will be appreciated. Or I can contribute. That could be a cool
Definitely,
thing
if you want to contribute as well. But you suggest like codecs,
open code. Open code and codecs and whatever is not...
it's open code, okay. Definitely, let's do it.
Yeah,
let's do
please,
it.
because Cloud is burning too much tokens at my company.
And the new model just released 3 days ago.
Yeah, I'm curious about the new model with just the MCP without Metrognome, but definitely the UI was impressive. Good job.
Thank you.
And great idea, mostly.
Thank you so much.
Any more questions, guys? If not, thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure.